everyone, welcome to class. I know that this is not how we were hoping to start the class. This is supposed to be an in-person course, but of course we have moved online for the beginning of January, maybe all of January, which, to be honest, kind of worked out for me because I'm currently in the U.S., where I came to visit my family for holidays, and unfortunately I have tested positive for COVID. So I'm stuck here for another 2 weeks. But good news is it's online, so we don't have to miss anything. Don't worry, no symptoms. I am fully vaxxed. I don't know how I got it. Hope you're all vaxxed as well. Please stay safe. But moving on, I just thought that I would introduce myself to you all. You can see my lovely face. And then for the first few weeks, because we have to be online, I'm going to do pre-recorded lectures of all of the material. So I will post the lecture notes on eClass before each class, along with videos that go along with those notes. Now, the videos I'm going to try to keep to 15 to 20 minutes, so there'll be multiple videos per day. Hopefully I won't go over the 50 minutes, so I'll try to do that. But we will be covering the same material, just like if we were in person. Now, hopefully you're enjoying my jokes that I like to throw in. I'm just assuming you're laughing along. If you don't enjoy them, sorry. So I hope you guys stay safe during this first few weeks while we are online, and I can't wait until we get to move back in person and we get to enjoy the class in person. So I'm going to move away from this video of me, and we'll get into the PowerPoint for the syllabus now, and we'll also talk about your written assignment because it is a very large portion of your final grade. And I know that you guys will want to know more information about that because you can actually start that really anytime. And maybe if you're stuck at home during this time, it's a good time to just start something. But I also understand if you don't want to. But just make sure that you know that the final paper, it's about a 10-page term paper, is due at the end of term, so try to plan accordingly. So I can't wait to see you guys in person. Please enjoy the recordings of my voice for the next few weeks. And like I said, stay safe. Okay, so we are now moving on to the PowerPoint portion of our first class. You can now hear me, but not see me. But I made some pretty slides for you. Not all the slides for this class will be as pretty, but I thought, why not? It's the syllabus. We can get pretty. So, again, this is Psych 478. I'm Erin Scully. I have my PhD. Who am I? You just saw me. You learned a little bit about me. But if you want to know more, Dr. Erin Scully, you can call me Dr. Scully, or just call me Erin. It's still kind of weird to me, being Dr. Scully, but I did earn it, so it's also kind of cool. But if you want to call me Erin, go for it. I tend to forget and just sign my emails Erin anyways. I do have a personal webpage if you want to check it out. I haven't updated it in over a year, so it's pretty old. But you can look. It just tells you more about my research. Where am I from? I'm from St. Louis Park, Minnesota. That's where I am right now, quarantining. But I'm very proud of being from Minnesota. That is what this is. This is Minnesota, the state in the U.S. We are known for the Minnesota Twins. Prince, of course, Bob Dylan. Some great musicians coming from Minnesota. Also, Josh Hartnett, if you are a fan of 90s movies. Very fun. So I will sometimes maybe mention the U.S. or Minnesota itself. I also have a lot of t-shirts with Minnesota on it, so you might see that once we get in person. I got my undergrad degree at Drake University, so that is in Iowa, Field of Corn. Also, if you're a baseball fan, Field of Dreams, filmed in Iowa. I am a big baseball fan. You will find that out. So, lots of corn in Iowa, pretty much all there is. But at Drake, then I double majored in biology and psychology because we did not have a neuroscience program, and that's what I was interested in. So double majored in both, and then I ended up moving up here to Edmonton to get my master's and PhD at the U of A. So I just graduated with my PhD in March of 2020 was when I finished. So I graduated, what was that, like June is the technical graduation ceremony. So didn't really have a graduation ceremony. Yeah, it was fun. So that's how I got to where I am now. I've been teaching then since I graduated. So this is only my second year teaching, my second time doing this course. So I am still learning, still kind of figuring some things out. So at the end of the term, when they ask you to do the course evals, I really love getting that feedback to be like, what did I do well and what can I do better? There's some things that I definitely know I can do better on from last time, so we're going to integrate that, but I love getting your feedback. Now, how did I get into this course? What do I study? Well, my PhD research, my thesis was called Behavioral and Neural Perception of Auditory Communication in Songbirds. So I don't actually study with drugs. I did some of that in my undergrad, though, and it's always been something that interests me. But I actually diverted to more perception work for my PhD using chickadees and zebra finches here in Edmonton. So again, just a fun picture of me. I like cats. That's a cat on my shoulder in my shirt. Just some pictures from publications. That's actually my hand with a chickadee on it down in the river valley. So just, right next to campus. So I looked at how perception changed based on season, call timing, or species of the caller, and then looked at neural activity. So these little brown dots represent proteins in the brain, and the more brown dots, the more protein, and that recognizes more activity. So the more dots you have, the more activity. And based on what they heard, they would produce more or less protein. So it's kind of like an after-death fMRI. Again, if you want to know more about it, here's a link to my Google Scholar page. You don't have to. I just get people asking, so I thought, let's just put it up there. Okay, now, some of you are probably like, that's enough, Erin. We don't care. So let's get into the syllabus. A lot of this is really just copy-pasted from the syllabus, but we're just going to go over it so that you know what to expect. This is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course, 3 to 3:50. We will be in person as soon as the university opens up. So please come to class. I will be posting the lecture notes online, but in order to do well in the class, you really do need to come to a physical class. I haven't decided if I'm going to do actual office hours or not. If I do, it'll be 2 p.m. on Mondays. My office is listed on the actual syllabus, but you can also always set up office hours by appointment. Just send me an email or talk to me after class. We have a lovely TA this term, Tamari. And here's her email, so you can always email her questions. She's the one that's going to be grading your midterms and final, as well as that final paper. So here's a fun slide that she made. So this is Tamari right here, a fun picture with some EEG on her head and a mask. So she is currently a PhD student in the Psych department, working with both Dr. Jeremy Kaplan and Dr. Kyle Nash. So she has experience with that neuro stuff. She studies anxiety and memory using this EEGs. Also, fun fact, she's from Georgia, the country in Europe, not the state in the US. So you've got two international, well, I guess I'm not an international student anymore. I'm an international worker, from two non-Canadians teaching your class. Very exciting. So we're going to have fun, different perspectives. So, again, feel free to reach out to Tamari. She probably won't show up to class except for on midterm days to help me proctor. But she does know a lot, so maybe if my explanation doesn't make sense, you can always email her and be like, can you explain it a different way, maybe? Or, if you just don't want to email me, go ahead, email her. Like I said, she'll be the one doing the grading of your exams and final paper. So let's get back to that syllabus. Okay, so course description, course objectives. You can go ahead, read those yourselves. Recommended resources. There is a textbook for this class. Do you have to buy it? No. But I highly recommend that you at least look at it. Maybe if you have a friend in the class, you guys chip in and buy one together that you can share. If you don't want to buy the whole thing. There's textbook renting places. Maybe you want to do that. But it is very helpful. It does go into more detail on some things. There's some things we're just not going to cover on it. There's some things I might add that's not in your textbook. But for the most part, I will be testing you directly from the slides, not from the textbook. But again, the textbook is a great resource. Is it possible to get an A in this class without it? I mean, technically, but most people that I've seen get A's, so last year and years before, they have the textbook. So I highly recommend it, but it's not required. So how are you going to get your grade in this class? There are kind of 3 different ways. First, we're just going to jump down here to your midterms. You have 2 midterm exams. They're each going to be worth 20% of your final grade. The first midterm will cover Unit 1, second midterm covers Unit 2, and then you have your final exam. The final exam is worth 30% of your final grade. So that's going to be the biggest thing in the class. It is going to be comprehensive, which means it's pretty cumulative. Now, when we're going through the class, you're going to kind of see that everything we learn builds on the previous unit. So we have 3 units in the class, units 1, 2, and 3. Midterm 1 is after unit 1. Midterm 2 is after unit 2. The final exam is after unit 3. So the final exam will be mostly covering unit 3, but there will be some cumulative questions as well. Now, all 3 exams will be a combination of multiple choice and short answer questions. So you will have to do some short answer, some fill in the blank, some kind of essay type questions. I will put a practice midterm on eClass closer to the first midterm, but that's the only practice exam I'm going to give you. Just be prepared. Okay, and then we have the paper. So I kind of alluded to this earlier. We have our big term paper. You're going to actually do kind of 2 papers. I'll explain it in a bit. But there's a paper proposal, which is going to be worth 5% of your final grade. That is one that I will grade. Then there's the final paper assignment. That is worth 25% of your final grade. This is about 8 to 10 page paper, and your TA will grade this one. I will give you more information on that, but your paper assignment builds on the paper proposal. Okay? These are wrong grades, so ignore these. We're just gonna delete this. But on the days that they're due at midnight. You will be submitting them on eClass. I do have a late assignment thing, so every day that you are late, you receive a 10% penalty. So you need to email me if you need an extension before the deadline. That means that if you submit your paper at 12:01, that is 1 day late. Okay? 12:01 the next day, that's a whole day late. That's the next day, so you get 10% off. Okay? So really make sure, try to turn it in before the deadline. Here's the tentative schedule. Okay, you can see we have Unit 1 starts on Friday the 7th. Today we're just doing this. Again, I give you the textbook chapters. You'll see we jump around, and we don't cover everything. Then we got Unit 2 and Unit 3. You'll also note that I put midterm review class before each midterm. Okay, there's also an exam review date before the final. Now, on these review days, I will be there, you come, you ask me questions. Okay, that's the type of review. I don't prepare anything for the review. It's for you guys to ask me questions. On these days, I will also be finishing up any material that we haven't quite finished. Okay, so some days we might go a little over, so I might have to say finish research methods on the 14th or something. Okay, so if we don't finish serotonin on the 26th, I'll wrap it up on the 28th, and then the rest of the class will be for any midterm questions. So that's how I have scheduled the class. The first midterm, hopefully we will be back on campus in time for the review and the actual exam. Right now they're saying we'll be back around here, so about catecholamines, just so you're aware. Okay, here are the important dates and deadlines that you need to know. These are accurate. The lay summary, Friday, February 18th by midnight. Your term paper, April 6th. You see that's last day of class. Midterm 1, midterm 2, and then the final exam that they haven't given me that actual date yet. But once we know, I'll let you all know in class. But also it is your responsibility for all classes to check E-class for that final date. Again, if you missed any term exams or assignments, if you email me beforehand, I can do stuff. If you wait till after, there's very little I can do. Okay, so you need to email me as soon as you have an issue, as soon as you feel ill, as soon as something comes up. There's a sickness or a death in the family. You know you're going to be away, or you know your internet's going to go down or something. Let me know so that I can do something. For assignments, I can give extensions if needed. For exams, I do not do deferred midterms. Okay, if you have to miss a midterm, what we're going to do is move the weight of that midterm to the final exam. Okay, that means if you miss, let's go back, let's say you have to miss the first midterm. Okay, that's worth 20%. That means your final exam would then be worth 50%. Okay, so we're going to move the weight to the final. Now, if you have to miss the final exam, you can apply for a deferred exam. That is something that you can still do, but no, you cannot do that unless you have completed more than 50% of the course. So that means if you had to move the weight of one midterm to the final, you can no longer apply for a deferred final exam. That's just how the university works. Okay. So keep that in mind. Again, just let me know. I try to be very flexible, especially with COVID and everything. Let's make it work, okay? I want you guys to do well. Student responsibilities. You can read this. Just don't cheat, guys. It's a lot of paperwork. I don't want to do it. Just don't do it. Okay? Cool. All this fun stuff. Try to turn off your cell phones during class, please. If you're just going to come to class and play on your phone the whole time, maybe you just don't come to class. Seems like you don't want to be there, so you don't have to come. It's university. I don't care. Okay? Okay. Great. Sounds fun. We're doing great. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about before I let you guys go is the paper assignment. So I'm actually going to end this video here and make a separate video just covering the paper assignment so that you guys can go back to that whenever you want to start the assignment and get all the information of what are we doing, why are we doing it, how is it going to break down.